Hello, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk to you today. My name's Dr. Kevin Burden, and I'm a researcher and lecturer in educational technologies here in the Faculty of Education. I'm very sorry I can't be with you today, but I'm giving a keynote about mobile learning to a group of teachers and school leaders in Jersey. And in fact, that's an introduction to my particular area of research and interest, which is around the use of mobile technologies in education. And what I'd like to do now is just to give you some background and feeling for where that research is situated and where it's taken me and my research team here in the faculty. I think it's worth starting by saying something about my own background, and over the last 6 or 7 years I've been very much involved in researching the emergence of this new phenomena, at first the mobile phone, and then the iPad Touch, which you can see being used here in one of our local primary schools. And more recently, the iPad itself, the iPad Mini. Last year in 2013, we gave our secondary PGCE trainee students an iPad. This year we've extended that to all of our trainee teachers, so that includes primary and secondary. And we're involved in the research of that particular project, trying to investigate how it changes their approach to being a teacher and how it changes their thinking about using education. And more recently, this year in fact, we've also secured a significant research grant through Erasmus to investigate the use of mobile technologies across Europe and to forge a partnership which we hope will lead to the development of a European-wide mobile learning network for teacher educators and subsequently an Horizon 2020 network and project grants. Now, in many senses, the real game changer, particularly in terms of the research that I'm undertaking and interested in, came about in 2010 with the introduction of this device, the iPad. And the iPad has revolutionised the way in which schools and educators think about their use of technology, to such an extent that it's now evidence that most organisations, and particularly educational organisations, are moving away from fixed PC type technologies that I refer to as being tethered technologies, towards mobile, flexible, agile technologies that go with the learner. And in 2012, I led a team of researchers from the University of Hull in Scotland, where we investigated and evaluated the first ever iPad deployments. And this was across 8 different schools, some of those primary, some of them secondary, where schools gave students a variety of different mobile technologies, the iPad being the predominant device, to find out how that device was used when students had access to it all the time. And our findings pointed to some significant effects in terms of learning. And as a result of that, we developed this pedagogical framework, which has been extensively used ever since to try to understand what goes on when learners have access to a mobile device. We identified 3 particular areas or affordances which we felt were activated and enabled when students had this personal device. And the first of those was collaboration. So we noticed, for example, more collaboration in the classroom, students working alongside each other, talking to each other, but also working with virtual partners, using technologies like Skype or FaceTime to talk and to engage in learning, often with people at some distance. The second thing we noticed was authenticity, that learning became more realistic. So for example, teachers bring in real data. It might be an earthquake app, which gives feedback on live-time data from earthquakes, enriching students' learning experience even in the classroom. And finally, personalisation. We notice a considerable amount of customisation taking place with these devices, students actually personalising it, learning from it, because it's owned by them rather than by the organisation itself. Now, more recently, and the purpose of this particular presentation, we've secured a significant grant of almost €500,000 to undertake a 3-year European project under the new Erasmus European projects. This was awarded in August of 2014, and it consists of a number of university partners along with some of their partner schools. So we are the lead partner in this project, and we're joined by the University of Technology in Sydney, by the University of Education in Karlsruhe, a teacher education university, by the University of Stuttgart Media University, and also by Bergen University College in Norway. And in addition to these 5 university partners, there are also 3 schools. And the idea of the project ultimately is to develop a European mobile learning network for teacher educators and other educators interested in the use of mobile devices. So our ambition is that by the end of this 3-year period, we will be established and identified as one of the major players in the field of mobile learning, and we will have brought on other partners, not just those in our partner countries, but those across Europe in this European-wide network. And to achieve that, we will develop a number of different resources, including a mobile learning toolkit, which will help educators to evaluate how this technology is being used, how their learners might benefit from using technologies with examples and scenarios. We also intend to explore the concept of textbooks, and we're hoping to develop some of our own unique ebooks using Apple's iBook technology. And this is just a little video to give you a flavour of what that might look like.
And we now have the opportunity to change one of the cornerstones of education, the textbook. With the iPad, we're making textbooks so much more engaging. By adding audio, video, and interactivity, the content comes to life in ways that are just not possible on the printed page. The information is always up to date, and instead of carrying 30 pounds of books in a backpack, you just need one iPad. These new textbooks are going to allow students to do things they could never do before.
When we set out to bring textbooks to iPad, there were really 3 areas we focused on. We wanted to have really fast, fluid navigation. We wanted to have beautiful graphics. And we wanted to create a better, easier way to take notes and use those notes. When you integrate photography, video, audio, interactive objects, and keynote animations right into the page, the material becomes so much more immersive and compelling. And you can do things you just can't do with a static paper textbook. Taking notes is one of the key ways students learn. So we're introducing some amazing new ways to take notes on iPad. When you see something you're interested in, you just swipe over it and it's highlighted. When you want to add a note, you just tap on it and type. And when you're ready to use your notes, you have an elegant study card view. It's all automatically organized for you, so you just don't have to think about it.
Up to now, making interactive books for iPad has been difficult, so we wanted to make it easier. And this meant so much to us, we had to invent a way to do it. So we developed iBooks Author, an incredible new publishing tool for the Mac. It has Apple-designed templates that allow anyone to create a beautiful multi-touch book for the iPad. And we wanted to get it into the hands of as many people as possible, so we're making it available for free. We also launched the new textbook section of the iBook store, and this will let publishers easily distribute the most up-to-date version of their textbook right to students. And students can open and read these textbooks right in the iBooks app. So now there's an easy way to create these books, an easy way to buy them, and an incredibly engaging way to experience them. And we're really excited because we think this is going to help students, teachers, and publishers.
So that video gives you a sense of what we're hoping to achieve in producing exemplar iBooks, or ebooks as most people refer to them, and the purposes for doing that in terms of learners, in terms of teaching, and in terms of transforming our pedagogies. We set to research this project over 3 years, and our ambition is that as a result of establishing a European-wide network for mobile learning, we'll be recognised as a go-to partner for Horizon 2020 funding and subsequent network opportunities. And that really is the purpose of this particular research project, to fund further steps and further opportunities, and to lay the groundwork in order for us to be seen and recognised as major international players who other partners and universities will be attracted to joining. Okay, thank you very much for listening.